you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence to come to your door. Because now it's Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador. How many more? Tell me now. How
Political prisoner. Peace and love. Welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition platform. Welcome to actually U.S. Political Prisoners and You. Right. This is a very important platform that we all need to be serious about, because it's about our political prisoners. It's about who they are and why should we care? Why should we be informed? Why should we take this work extremely serious when it comes to their freedom? You know, we can't ignore them. We can't let them die in prison. Or October. Welcome to October. Today is the 8th day of October. This 8 days into the history of the Black Panther Party. Black Panther Party started on October 15th, 1966. It was started by Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton. They were determined to deal with the issues of their people. And we got to look at why they did that. They're looking, this is a revolutionary time. This is a time where a number of things are happening around the world. And so you start to relate to your reality a whole lot different when you're during this time, right? You start to say, make an assessment of the situations and how do other people relate to it, and how you should relate to it. And that's why it's very important for us to dig into the Black Panther Party's history and start to talk about who they are and what they did and why they did it for us. And the fact that it's very important that we continue to study them, continue to have a place for them in our everyday lives. So just to go through a timeline of the Black Panther Party, October 15th, 1966, Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton founded the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in Oakland, California. May 1967, armed Panthers led by Seale protest a bill restricting their right to bear arms by entering the California state capitol. October 1967, Huey Newton is involved in a shootout with an Oakland police officer, leading to the officer's death and Newton's arrest. April 1968, Panthers treasurer Bobby Hutton is killed by police during a confrontation in Oakland, a case that would later fuel claims of police brutality. 1968, the FBI begins actively working to dismantle the party through its COINTELPRO program. So those are the beginnings. That's highlights of the Black Panther Party. So we get an idea of how it came into being, what was done and why. And it's very important that when we start to look at that timeline, we see how serious they were, how very active they were, and committed to the work to raising our people's consciousness. Because when they come out to the community and they start talking to the community about what needs to be done, you start to understand that they're very serious about raising their people's consciousness. They can't make real change without the support of the people, and they understood their role. In this very important book written by current political prisoner Mumia Abu-Jamal, incredible author. He wrote a number of books. If you don't have this book, you should have this in your library. It should be a family discussion. It should be at your dinner table, right? While you're eating, talk about what's going on currently. Talk about what happened 50 years ago, what happened maybe 100 years ago, and who were involved in addressing those issues on behalf of their people, right? When we start looking at the 60s and we start thinking about the Black Panther Party and we're looking about what's going on, we start to understand that they were people who were committed to those serious issues in terms of how they're going to relate to common people and what needed to be done. Mumia writes about the Black Panther Party. This is chapter 1, the beginnings of the Black Panther Party and the history it sprang from. He said regarding Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, they were on the surface unremarkable. Two black men in their 20s searching for meaning in a world that seemed content to ignore their existence. They were among doubtless thousands, if not tens of thousands, of young men and women who were among the first in their families, members of that first generation to seek higher education. Their trek into such institutions was, in many ways, a voyage into a new and unfamiliar world, a trek that their earlier unchallenging education left many youth woefully prepared for. I think that paragraph gives you an idea of what was happening, gives you an idea of how their consciousness was being raised, and they decided that they were going to do something about it. So as the Black Panther Party forms, they have a program. So they have a mission statement. They have an understanding that they want to be clear on politically. And I think that when they lay this out, the 10-point program, it makes me think about Malcolm's speech when he talked about political maturity, right? For you to do that, you're letting people know that this is clear. And even before I lay out the 10-point program or go through the 10-point program that the Black Panther Party have, I just want to think about I just want to think about the importance of what that meant and the power that it means when you join something and you know why you're joining it. And I think that that itself had such a appeal to people because you're part of something that's clear on you. You're a part of something that's identifying the problems and the solutions. So this is the 10-point program. It said, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our Black community. We want full employment of our people. We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our Black community. We want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. We want all Black men to be exempt from military service. We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people. We want freedom for all Black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. We want all Black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in court by a jury of their peer group or people from their Black communities as defined by the Constitution of the United States. And point number 10, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. And these 10-point programs, if I'm not mistaken, were put into the Black Panther Party newspaper. And when you start to examine these 10-point programs, you look at that was during the 60s. Now in 2025, these are the same issues. These are the same concerns. Who doesn't want more employment in their community? Adequate employment. Who doesn't want to be exempt from the military, knowing that there's a crisis happening that's taking place that obviously has a capitalist interest, is an interest that does not benefit you, and who wants to be involved in that? Who doesn't want decent housing? Like, we have to ask ourselves these serious questions, and that's why this model is so important. And we got to put ourselves in a position to carry out these ideas, right? One of the things that we have to examine is that when COINTELPRO struck, right, obviously it was to undermine the advancement of people of color, of common people. And it just wasn't with the Black Panther Party that COINTELPRO attacked. It attacked the Nation of Islam, attacked the Marxist Garvey, anybody who had the courage to stand up and fight back. So that's why we have to take our history very seriously, because what gives our history is power. What gives our history power is how we use it in our current situation. If we still don't have control of our own destiny, then we have to look at how did we try to fight for that? What went right? What went wrong? No organization is perfect. No revolutionary is perfect. We all have imperfections, and that's why we deal with each other accordingly. We deal with each other from the perspective of, you're going to make me better, I'm going to make you better, and and our engagement, we're going to make each other better. So that's why when we talk about our history, we encourage each and every one of us to do our own personal study, our own personal research, and come back to the table. Tell us what you learned. Tell us what you found out, and how can we utilize that to make something more stronger, make something better. Um, the Black Panther Party had a newspaper, right? And the newspaper sold hundreds of thousands of copies. It was sold for 25 cents. All the Black Panther Party members were instructed to sell them. You sold them for 25 cents. Before you sold them, you had to read them. So political education was important in the Black Panther Party. And if you're going to sell something and somebody asks you a question and you don't have that answer, obviously they might not feel comfortable with continuing a conversation, or even comfortable with going any further um, with um, with you, or committing themselves to getting involved at any level. The Black Panther Party newspaper graphic designer was Emory Douglas, and I don't know if you ever really looked at a Black Panther Party newspaper and looked at the graphic designs. It was very, very. It caught your attention, right? The art, and the art conveyed an idea, the idea about what the Black Panther Party was, and their relationship to the state, and the state's attack on the common people, and how the Black Panther Party was there to fight for them, to stand up in solidarity, right? It wasn't about sympathy. It was about, we're going to do some serious work. We're going to be in the streets. We're going to have survival programs, pending revolution. We're going to do what needs to be done to move our people forward, because we're not comfortable with witnessing oppression. And we're not looking for somebody to do the work that we need to do. We're going to do it ourselves. So that's what the Black Panther Party was about. And its impact is still felt today, right? For those who want to do some serious research, right? You have enough things happening now that was started because of the Black Panther Party. You had the breakfast program. And because of that, the state emulated what they did, what the Black Panther Party did, and now you have your children having breakfast in school if they choose to. The Black Panther Party knew the importance of having a early breakfast, and the importance of doing it yourself. Right? You see somebody who's talking about your destiny, talking about self-determination, serving you food. Now you're going to listen a bit more. You're going to understand that this is a serious business. It's a business that's about me and those like me. The Black Panther Party newspaper, and I think this point is very important, it was utilized to raise awareness about political prisoners. Huey P. Newton was a political prisoner, and the Black Panther Party newspaper spoke about political prisoners. And so it's in the 60s, speaking about political prisoners. So now you got hundreds of thousands of people learning about political prisoners. And that's why U.S. Political Prisoners and You is such an important show. And those who are tuning in now, please share with as many people as possible. You can go to Black Power Media channel and subscribe, so you get that alert every week when we come on from the hours of 1 to 1:30. What's more important than investing time into talking about issues that directly concern you? Our political prisoners, they directly concern us. Why? Because progress comes through struggle. Progress comes through sacrifice. Progress comes through commitment. And these are attributes that our political prisoners display. And so we have to respect that. At least we should, right? We should be we should put ourselves in a position to do something at any level possible, because it is our duty to stand up for ourselves, right? Because we can't expect nobody to do anything for us. We got to take a position that is very clear when it comes to us and what needs to be done. And that's exactly what the Black Panther Party did. And that's why we have to continue that legacy, continue that work, right? So you had chapters, offices throughout the country, right? You had a number of people signing up, joining, because the Black Panther Party was able to let them know what caused their reality. It was the fact that they didn't have no power, and that the only way you was going to seriously have power is through an organized way. I spent over 20 years in Queens, the borough of Queens, and I was told, but by being in South Jamaica, Queens, that you had the Black Panther Party office that was on at the time. It was New York Boulevard. Now it's called God Brewer, and it was on. I was told it was on 110th Avenue. So a current prisoner by the name of Kamal Siddiqui, he was a teenager. He was involved in that office. He was selling his newspapers. He was involved in the programs that they had. He was very serious about moving his people forward. And to just know that he's currently in prison and know his history, his body of work, you feel like, wow, I owe him. I owe people like him. You have people like Asada Shakur. She was involved with the Black Panther Party, from my understanding, from my research, for about 2 years, and she's from South Jamaica, Queens. So just think, this borough that I will frequent, or this borough that I live in for over these years, they held a number of members of the Black Panther Party. And Sekou Odinga from South Jamaica, Queens, he was a Black Panther Party member, and also a Black Liberation Army member. And so you start to connect to that history a whole lot differently. You're like, this person is still around. This person made so much sacrifices. This person shares information with me, stories about what they experienced, the torture, being away from their family as a political prisoner. You think of Asada Shakur gaining political asylum in Cuba, never to come back to the United States and have a different relationship to her family. Now her family has to go out to Cuba to see her, and even the people that she loved, us, we have to make arrangements to see her. And you start to really understand how serious this matter is. But this work has to be done, and that's why the Black Panther Party was so important, because just think about these young adults picking up arms to defend their community. The Black Panther Party used the guns to attract people, right? That was like just the surface on the cake, as they say, or the icing on the cake, excuse me, as they say. But what was really at the heart of it was educating their people, organizing their people, fighting for food, clothing, and shelter, and doing that in an organized manner, and having politics that oh, sister, I have to get back to you around that. I know some things, but I don't know all things. The sister says, can you speak about D.E. Fremery Park in Oakland, how the Black Panther Party had the ownership? I'll do some research on that, sister. You can contact me at 347-679-3936 and remind me to address that next week, because I love those challenges. I love the fact that we're engaging, we're going back and forth. So again, that question is, can you speak about D.E. Fremery Park in Oakland, how the Black Panther Party had the ownership? So sister, I'm going to do my homework. I love the fact that somebody gave me an assignment to do. So I'll make sure that I do that. And if I forget, please, somebody text me at 347-679-3936 and answer that question. Just give me a moment to write it down. Can you speak about D.E. Fremery Park in Oakland, how the Black had the ownership? But just thinking about the concept of ownership and how the Black Panther Party was against capitalists and fighting capitalism, because they know the criteria of capitalism, or the method in which capitalists engage in, is exploitation and oppression. And so I would think that any ownership that the Black Panther Party had was collective ownership, and it was ownership that was going to benefit everyday people, common people. So that's what comes to mind when I think of that concept. And it's very important that these conversations lead us to make that connection from what happened then to what's going on now, and what should be done, how we should take it upon ourselves to carry that out. Because when you think about the Black Panther Party and their sacrifices and their commitment that they made, you think about you have the responsibility to express an honor. And the highest and the clearest way to express honor is in practice, is in deed, right? What do you do? What do you do if you say you truly respect and honor the Black Panther Party? What organized work are you a part of? What organization are you a part of? What serious political education are you committed to? How many books do you own on the fight for our self-determination? You know, do you own a library card if you don't own no books? So you can acquire necessary material needed to raise your consciousness. Do you make a clear distinction between being informed and being conscious, right? We all are informed, we know something, but what do we do with it determines if that information is going to elevate to the point where we become conscious, where we know that this is something that I have to act on. This is an action that I need to take because it's involved in my everyday life. There's many people know about the dangers of smoking cigarettes, but are they truly conscious about that? And because if they were truly conscious or conscious period, then would they continue to smoke? And I raised that to say, you know, when we talk about the Black Panther Party and their fight for our self-determination and their fight to free our political prisoners, what are we doing with that information? Are we conscious? Are we conscious about political prisoners? Are we writing to political prisoners, or at least making an attempt to write to a political prisoner? Because I know I told somebody to write to a political prisoner, and unfortunately, the letter was sent back. But at least the effort was put out, and I have to do research to make sure that it gets to that political prisoner. And the political prisoner that I'm talking about is Ronald Reed. So if anybody uh, who knows somebody who has those connections to him, please contact me at 347-679-3936. I know a number of people in other organizations that I'm going to reach out to. I just been focused very hard on Curb Fest, so I have to find time. I have to organize my day a bit better and find time to make those necessary phone calls to make sure that this brother gets his letter, right? Because I can only understand what that means to him when he receives this letter. You know, Huey P. Newton, he had incredible support as a political prisoner. He had the Panther newspaper. He had rallies. He had marches. He had demonstrations. He had the free Huey P. Newton button. He had a number of things that were advocating for his freedom, which eventually he got. And we need to look at that and apply that to today, right? Just imagine as we had as many people as we had yesterday, today, fighting for Mumia, right? Because people get winded, they get tired, they get caught up in other activities, other actions. Yes, please. Whatever organization you are a part of. Somebody said I recently joined the NAACP for this reason. I'm hoping to connect with people that's about action. Absolutely. When you connect with with the NAACP, you know, ask them about their position on political prisoners, and do your personal research as far as being educated politically. So you make sure that you have creative input anywhere you go, any formation that you're a part of. Make sure that you have um, creative input, right? Because sometimes you might have to do things on your own when you're not in that organized formation, you know, and you have to develop in a way where you're going to put out material and you're going to connect with others, and they're going to feel that they have to do the same. And so you communicate, you exchange ideas, you can exchange creative tactics, and that way you can produce the best. But I love the dialogue today. You know, I'm getting more dialogue than I usually get, and I feel inspired, right? Because this is the work, right? Because we can't ignore our political prisoners. We got to be a part of some organized action. Someone said, Akwet Kaba S. Ankh said, I will write political prisoners and you could give me people to write. Oh, thank you, sister. 347-679-3936. You can also go to Jericho's website. They got a number of political prisoners. You can also contact me at 347-679-3936. I'll give you what information I have. Please do your research as well. Let's exchange information that we come across. Let's exchange letters that we receive from our political prisoners. I know when I received a letter from Ronald Reed, I shared it with everybody. I have to go back and do another letter, and then I'll share that with you too. And the Black Panther Party, right? Their position with everyday issues, and just the circulation of the newsletter, and the Emory Douglas, his position, and just the way the newsletter was, the newspaper was constructed. Because as I did my research, as I always do prior to coming on, I found out that it was a 4-page newsletter, and then it graduated or catapulted to a newspaper. So just think, they started off one way. So many of us, I know at one point I was involved in an organized a campaign, and we had a newsletter. And from that newsletter, I was able to see that these ideas circulated to the community. We had a place that we got about 500 copies for less than $100, and it was very important and powerful to convey an idea to our people. And I'm just thinking how the Black Panther Party was able to do that, starting off with a newsletter. So when we look at the history of somebody doing something, in this case, the Black Panther Party starting off with a newsletter, we should be inspired to start off somewhere and then graduate to another area. There were a number of people involved in the production of the newspaper, and that lets you know that you get who's ever good at what, bring them aboard, make them commit to that. You don't know how long they're going to commit to that, but with that organized way, they were able to produce 537 copies. So if they did 537 copies, now this is written, this is history, this is a historical record. Now people start to see, wow, at this time, 50 years ago, 50 plus years ago, people were fighting for adequate housing, and they're still fighting it today. 50 plus years ago, they were fighting for education that reflected who they were, their history, their outlook, their perspective, and we're still fighting that today. So why are we still fighting that? That because that system is still in operation, and we have to do more to put ourselves in power, to make sure that we have the first and the last say so in matters pertaining to our food, clothing, and shelter, and our education, right? Because our children are next in line to get educated, and we got to ask ourselves, what's the quality of education that they're going to have? Like, for those of you who are viewing this for the first time, you're welcome. Peace and love to you, sister. Thank you for tuning in. Please share with as many people as possible. Share with your contact. Let's build a commitment to raising people's awareness around our political prisoners. If you happen to be in Queens, join our Curb Fest at 109-04 160th Street. That's South Jamaica, Queens. Jamaica, New York, 11433. It's 1 to 5, October 18th. That's Eastern Standard Time. But as I was saying, I had an experience with my son when he came home, telling me that, guess what, Dad? The teacher said we can't write about Malcolm X because he was bad and violent. And, the sisters first, his mother and another parent, they led the charge. I just joined on when the fire had started. But I added to it, and it was something that gained a lot of attention. But that's just to give you an example of the importance of us standing for our children's education. So I salute those parents, those sisters that initiated the charge. It was very important and very powerful, and that is a historical record. But you don't do things like that without being inspired from people who did those things before. So as we come a close to this episode, please share this with as many people as possible. Write to a political prisoner, and looking forward to speaking to you next week. I will address that question, and if I forget to address it, please remind me. Matter of fact, text me the day before I come on. This is the contact information. If you're not able to see it because of whatever reason, it's 347-679-3936. Again, the question was, can you speak about D.E. Fremery Park in Oakland, how the Black Panther Party had the ownership? Again, that's, can you speak about D.E. Fremery Park in Oakland, how the Black Panther Party had the ownership? So we'll be addressing that next week. That'll be one of the questions that I raised. October is Black Panther Party History Month. Please be a part of the program. Do some personal study, do some family study, and love to see y'all next week. And y'all know to call Freya Mall. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Don't let them be forgotten. Peace and love, safe travel. Thank you for your time. I know the value of it.
Ever see Indians live proud and free before the oppressor's slavery? Black people live proud and free. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and say you're not involved. Don't try to convince yourself that these problems don't affect you at all. Because now it's Lebanon, Azania, Grenada. How many more? Tell me now, how many more? Don't you stand on the sidelines and watch your children go off to war. Don't stand back and wait for this violence to come to your door. Because now it's Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador.